Hey, Brenna.
Wait, Brenna's on? Wait.
Yep.
Hi, Brenna. So Brenna's here typing. That's great. Then Brenna can comment and we can yak.
Okay, folks. Thank you for joining us. Can everybody hear us okay? This is our first time doing this, so.
We're learning. Is it working, Brenna? Are we up and running? Does it look right?
Okay, so today, because we could not be at Gen Con, sadly, we wanted to get together and do a little art, and we can talk about the games. But
okay, Brenna says we're quiet.
Okay, a little quiet. I can turn that up a little.
Does that help? Yeah. And John Tessier says, sounds good.
Okay.
This is fun because if I try to pronounce people's names and I get them wrong, I'll feel even worse because, well, we're not mean when people mispronounce our name, but I know what it's like. So I'm sorry if I say people's names wrong. All right.
Yeah. So I didn't expect to be this bummed out that we couldn't go to Gen Con, but this week I really missed the setup day and just going out to eat and seeing friends and talking to everybody.
Yeah.
And
in fact, we moved furniture this morning. It was probably because we missed moving booth stuff around.
I know. Yeah. And it's funny because last year the booth setup was really not easy. We had shipped these giant trusses and they were really heavy. And we had all these decorations and things because we wanted to do something new for Sleeping Gods. And Brenna knows exactly what I'm talking about. It was fun, but I remember after doing that, and especially after cleaning up all that stuff, I was like, ooh, I am ready to be done with this. I don't know if we're going to do it again next year. But now I'm like missing it.
The good old days of booth setup, and unwrapping pallets, and the smell of cardboard in the air.
Smell of cardboard. So the setup day at Gen Con, it's a fun day, but what's interesting is if you just go to Gen Con, if you're just an attendee, then you're not there for the setup day. And on setup day, they don't air condition the halls. So it gets very hot in there. And one year it was kind of rainy and humid outside, and that hall was insanely humid. I can
now
remember.
We're like, wouldn't that be a great adventure to
dripping.
go to the sweaty, humid hall again? We miss people.
I would take it happily. I would be so excited to do that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So, today...
like, greetings from Costa Rica. Hello, Charlie. Wow, speaking of humid and warm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Thank you for anybody who's just joining us. Thank you for joining us for this digital painting and discussion session. We're just hanging out, wishing that we could be at Gen Con, but... it's fun that we still have ways that we can connect to people.
Yeah.
This year, our newest release, if you haven't checked it out, is a game called Deep Vents. And
well, I guess I should grab one.
Yeah, Mallory, grab a copy if you would,
like
please.
We're at the booth. Hey, welcome to the booth. Here's our Deep Vents.
So there's a copy of Deep Vents.
With the vampire squid on front.
Yeah. It's funny, Alex, the co-designer, and I were talking the other day about the game and how the character on the cover, the vampire squid, is actually the weakest character in the game.
You think he is?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah, I think so.
That's funny.
and you know, the game is sort of balanced that way, to have stronger and weaker tiles because of the way the tile purchasing system works. It works like it works a little like 8 Minute Empire, where there's a row of creatures that you can buy. So in the game, what you're trying to do is create a deep sea ecosystem. And
there are some tiles that grow, like they grow what's called archaea, which is kind of archaea. Thank you. Yeah, we've been messing with that pronunciation for a little while. So they grow archaea, which is kind of the base nutrient for this deep sea, deep vent ecosystem. So a lot of them grow, and then some of them are predators that feed on the archaea or feed on other creatures. So
so
enhancing what you were explaining.
Yeah, there's a you purchase the creatures in a row, and that way the tiles sort of balance each other out, and it's kind of up to the players to decide which tiles they'll purchase and add to their ecosystem. And everybody's ecosystem is different, and it really depends on how you build it. So, which
I love, because, you know, especially in the early days of Ryan and I playing competitive games, when he would want to play something that was like, a big like 4X space game or something where we would have the option to attack, I was always wanting to like hide in a corner and just like turtle and just get really, really safe and strong so no one could attack me. And now in Deep Vents, it's actually super viable to go with a strategy of just growth and trying to avoid conflict, or to do a balanced strategy between conflict and growth, or just to go all out predator. So it's been fun to be able to try a bunch of different approaches, and everybody's personality can kind of find a strategy they like, rather than feeling forced to just be aggressive the whole time. So that's been fun for me.
Yeah, I like the different, that you can grow, or you can choose to be very aggressive and attack people. That's usually what I like to do.
We have Sylvain from France.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This says no Cintiq. Wow, hats off to you. But he's
using
a Wacom tablet.
So yeah, what's funny is I do have a Cintiq, but I'm not using the screen. I actually turn off the screen and just use it as a tablet to paint on. It's like 10 years old, so the screen is not great. So I've just really gotten used to it. But yeah, technically I am painting on a Cintiq. Yeah.
Okay, and Herbert is, well, that's how we'd say it, but from your last name, I'm guessing I'm pronouncing that first name wrong too. Says, thanks for your wonderful games. Me and my wife enjoy your games so much and bond over them. We are eagerly awaiting Sleeping Gods. It's always a happy moment when we hear that partners enjoy playing together, because that was that was a huge motivation always for us, trying to find games that we enjoyed playing together. We have pretty similar interests, but it's hard to find board games where both people can have a good time, especially when it's two players and you're the only two, you know? So you don't have as much of that like big group social banter going on. So We're glad to hear when couples like playing our games.
Yeah, thank you.
And Sleeping Gods, yes, I'm sure that people eagerly awaiting Sleeping Gods like we are too.
Yeah.
Oh, I did, Herbert? Okay, great. Well, welcome to the conversation. He says I said his name correct, so wonderful. Haha, gotcha. I'm a digital painter, so I know the skill it takes to not have the art directly under your stylus, says Chad.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, it can be tough. It was very weird to get used to it. And, you know, the thing is, in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm still better at drawing when I can sort of see where I'm drawing. I feel like my shapes are kind of better, and drawing in general, but it's also slower. So I've just really gotten used to this method of painting where I don't have to look at the Cintiq, or I don't have to look at where I'm painting. So yeah.
We got a comment
Alyssa,
about the Sleeping Gods shirts.
Oh, I was going to say, Alyssa, sorry to hear that you couldn't go this year. It was the one year you could go.
Oh, shoot. Now I get the comments. because Alyssa could not go this. Oh.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Sad. Well, thank you for coming to our virtual booth for an hour and spending time with us.
Yeah. What were you saying before I go? Oh, the shirts?
The shirt, yes.
Yep.
This is my favorite shirt that Ryan has designed. It's really fun to have like that. Okay, we'll do a little preview. Oh yeah, so you've got like the manticore, and then down here you've got this huge hectocron coming up from...
I've got it too. We're twins.
If we were in person, we'd hand you all a t-shirt right now, but sadly.
Yeah. We actually didn't make new shirts this year because we weren't going.
We weren't going.
I probably should make new shirts though.
Yeah, maybe we can have some Sleeping God stuff on the website when it releases. Super fun. So,
does anybody have any questions or comments?
Ego Tripaholic says, where do I buy that shirt? Yeah, exactly. So we'll figure that out. And Alyssa has...
I think we should start. Maybe we should start selling that on our website.
Yeah. I used to live in Indy for 7 years, and I never went when I lived there because I was always working restaurants when the event came to town.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you for working the restaurants, because boy, we love the food in Indy, but that is a bummer. Super bummer. Let's see. Chad says, I doubt you remember, but I'm embarrassed to tell you that 2 Gen Cons ago, I cornered you at the mall and talked your ear off about the game I was designing.
Oh, I think I do remember that. Yeah, that's awesome.
So sorry about that, by the way. Never apologize.
Yeah.
This is a family. Great. This whole thing is a family, so it's great.
That's. I mean, that's. I do the same thing.
That's true. Wasn't too long ago. That was Ryan at Essen cornering people.
Yeah.
So.
I remember before I had published any games, I went to Essen. This was the year Dominion came out. And I just went and I talked to anybody I could at the show. I went from booth to booth, talking to every company, saying, "Hey, I do art because I had done art for Dominion," and I was trying to get, I was trying to get more freelance art jobs, and it was definitely out of my comfort zone, but it was a great experience. I really remember that, having a great time.
Suzanne's here. Hi, Suzanne.
Oh, nice.
Nice to talk to you.
Hi.
She says, what hidden talent does Ryan have that we don't know about yet? Can they see your drum set in the background? Oh, okay. There's one of them.
I play drums. I'm not actually that good, but I enjoy playing. Like, I'm a little too embarrassed to actually play for anybody, really. But I have fun.
Oh, let's see. How many of you did work on Sleeping Gods project? Yeah. How many of us? All of us. So.
How many? You mean how many people?
I think so. How many of you worked on the Sleeping Gods project?
Yeah. So it was. Go through the people involved.
Well, it was Ryan, obviously, and then Brenna wrote a ton of the stories for. We've got a lot of maps and a lot of stories, and Brenna did so much work with Ryan doing concept and writing. As usual, there will be some fun characters that are just such Brenna style, so we're excited for her contributions. And then Alex, who is the co-designer of Deep Vents, Alex Davis, he helped design the Dungeons expansion, and then of course I
did play testing.
Yeah, and then of course I was on the project too, and then we have even a little cameo from Alf Siegert, who did writing on Above and Below and Near and Far. So
then also Ira Faye designed the arcade mode.
We have
and he did some development as well.
Yeah, so for quite a team. Yeah. Let's see. We're getting more comments. This is awesome. Let's see. How's the soundtrack for Sleeping Gods coming along? So well. We are really excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's awesome.
Yeah, we're doing a lot more recording next week. We're doing a recording marathon of like 5 more tracks. But
what percentage do you think you are done with that?
Well, from my writing, I'm about 90% done writing. From recording, we're about 50% done recording. And then we have, so Ryan's brother Brandon is a professional He's our recording artist, but sound engineer. But he also plays guitar, so a lot of his guitar solos need to go in over some of the tracks that we've already recorded for piano. So there's a lot of polishing and a lot of recording left, but we're about 90% done on writing, 50% done on recording. Let's see. So yes, thanks for asking, and it's coming along nicely. Mallory, are you working on any game designs right now? Okay, Suzanne, here's the story. I was like working my tail off on trying to get an Above and Below sequel out. And I had all these ideas, and I was like pitching them to Ryan, and then all of a sudden Ryan comes up with a new idea that's like 10 times better than anything that I was working on.
Well,
and
not
it's not
necessarily
an Above and Below sequel, but it's very much up the same alley that I was looking at. So far, I don't have anything that's good enough to say, watch for it, Mallory Lockett design. But yes, I'm always working. Let's see. And you're so sweet to ask. Suzanne's the best. We love Suzanne. Okay, how many weeks did it take you to recover from finishing Sleeping Gods? What a huge game. That's the best question ever.
It was. I'll tell you, near the end, there was some burnout. It probably took... I feel like I was kind of out of it for like 3 months. You know, do you think that's fair to say?
Yeah, but I have to say, the one thing that really helped, so we were still recovering from basically finishing it when everything kind of shut down. And we were able to we were still working on it. But the thing that really healed us was we took almost a month, and for just a couple hours every afternoon, Ryan and I sat at the table and we just played a board game together. Like ones that we'd been wanting to try, old favorites. Like every single afternoon we would just take 2 hours or so and play a board game together. And that was like, it fed our soul. I think it like recuperated us from after that.
It's like, yeah. Oh, board games are fun.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good. Can I steal your mouse really quick? I'm going to scroll back and see if I missed anybody's comments, because now they're really coming in quick. Let's see. Okay. Jack Draper says, when I saw Dominion card drawn by Ryan, I freaked. I didn't know he worked for anything other than Red Raven. There's your stylus again.
Oh, yeah. I did that.
We're losing you. I'm going to slide your camera over.
No, I'll just move over. I got it. Okay. So, yeah, I did that for a couple of years before we started Red Raven. And actually, I've illustrated a few games other than that. There's one game called The Rails of New England that was published by Rio Grande Games, and it's a railroad game that I'm still very proud of the art in that game. I also did, what is it? Of course, Bridge Troll and Trollhalla. Those are Z-Man games.
Designed by
Alf Siegert.
So.
And I did another game called Chocolatl, and
oh yeah, that one's awesome.
Yeah, it's
that's a really fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of that one too. So
okay.
They're all hard to find, I think.
Oh. So there are some comments coming in about drums. Herbert says maybe a hidden drum track in the Sleeping God soundtrack done by Ryan. Just a thought.
Just a giant drum solo. Just me banging on the drums.
Brenna says she really had fun writing for Sleeping Gods. I'm glad to hear it, because she sure did a ton of work. So yes, I hope it was fun. Hi from France, from Vincent. Let's see. Suzanne. Suzanne's great. Okay, love anything you guys do. Keep it up. It's pretty hard to get my hands on. Dingo's Dreams in Belgium. Yes.
Yeah. That's a hard one to find right now.
It is tricky.
Hopefully we can reprint it someday.
Okay, they want to know what game has dazzled us in the last year that we've played. What have we really loved?
Has dazzled us.
Oh, dazzle is
Let's
a hard
think
word.
about that.
I feel like okay, I'd have to think about the dazzle. There are some games that I have just really, they're like the comfy sweatpants of games. Like I just want to put them on and wear them all day. Like I have really enjoyed Great Western Trail. We've played that a ton, and that I just the more I play it, the more I love it.
That one's been fun.
Yeah.
There are a couple new ones that we played when we were in California.
We
had
Raiders, and we played the Mind. Ryan had played the Mind before, it was the first time I had played the Mind, and Ryan and I made it through all the levels on the first time without stopping. We were like, yes, we are destined to be a couple. Look at us go. It was amazing. We stayed up till like midnight doing it. And
it was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah. And then the Architects.
Yes.
That I really enjoyed that one.
Architects
what is that
of
one
the
called?
West Sea, is that?
No.
Am I getting it right? Where is it?
I forget what it's called.
Oh, it's
It's embarrassing. Sorry.
Bad. Nope. It's locked in the closet behind the art. Can't tell you. I'll Google it. We also tried Cartographers, which was a totally different game than we were expecting.
I was expecting a different game.
Cover.
Yeah.
Because the cover's like full of color and like fantasy, and we kind of thought we would be like making up stories or something.
I guess, yeah.
But it was a really fun game too. Let's see what this Architects game is called. Yeah, the West Kingdom, not the West Sea.
Yeah.
Architects of the West Kingdom, and then the Raiders is Raiders of the North Sea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, apologies too. Yeah, but it was great. We played it a bunch. We played it with our kids too.
Oh yeah.
So that was fun. Okay.
Oh, and so my son loves is that game called Raptor?
Oh, Raptor. Yes.
Yeah.
He loves Raptor.
He does. We have a good time playing that.
I'm trying to think what else we've played that has dazzled us. That's a cute question though. Okay. Alyssa, how many games do you normally develop or work on at a time? That's a good one.
We usually have one main thing that we're working on, one or two that we're working on. We get into these phases where we have tons of ideas and we're just trying to decide which one to focus on. That's kind of what we're doing right now, is sort of throwing out a lot of ideas, just seeing what sticks, what's good, right? Throwing it all against the wall. But right now we have two main games that we're focused on, and we probably have like 5 in like various stages of concept and playtesting. Yeah. It's hard actually. This point where we're at right now is difficult because I have like 8 projects that I would love to work on, and I sort of have to just decide to focus on one.
But what decides what you're focusing on? Because it does seem like you choose one and then that gets a lot of focus. You're not like juggling a lot.
Once we pick one, we really like focus in on that, and we could work on that one once we've sort of decided, for a year or more. And it's kind of like, it's hard to say what is the thing that chooses that game. It's probably fair to say that it's like heart. whatever thing I just can't stop thinking about, or that we just love, or we just really get into, it's just really hard to let it go. That's the thing we work on.
So, I've missed some. I'll go back. But Herbert asks, says, thank you for these painting videos, Ryan. You are a true inspiration and have inspired me to design my own game just to practice digital art.
Wow. Thank you. That's awesome.
It's fun because Ryan definitely does games partly just as a way to do his art. Like, he loves the game design, but he definitely leads with, what is the art going to look like for the game?
They're just so connected. It's like the expression is both. It's like I want to create this art, but I want people to interact with it more than just look at it. And that's where the game design part of it comes in.
Okay, can I steal your stylus again?
Yeah.
So we had a comment from France. Yeah, Sylvain says, he discovered the games with Near and Far. Do you plan an extension after Amber Mines or any French translation for your games in the next years?
For
Near and Far.
For Near and Far?
Yeah.
Yes, right?
Yes. Well, we have recruited the help of someone to focus on licensing, so you will be seeing a lot more licensed versions of Red Raven games than even before. We've had some excellent licensing partners in Europe, but this year we have a lot of new partners working on new translations. Some people are even working on Sleeping Gods. I don't know that we have a French translator for Sleeping Gods yet, but yes, do expect to see more Red Raven games coming out, especially in the European and some of the Asian markets. So yeah, thanks for asking that. But you evaded the other question. Do you plan another expansion after Amber Mines for Near and Far?
For Near and Far? At this, it's funny because I know I put a number on that box.
Oh yeah, you said expansion number 1.
It says expansion number 1. So I have some ideas, but we don't have anything really nailed down yet. We've thrown around some ideas. I even mentioned some to Brenna, but that's probably not going to be soon if that comes out. That's as much as I can say.
Yeah, we've got a lot of new stuff we just, of course, with Sleeping Gods have been totally focused on that, but we have a lot of new stuff coming up that is, some of it story focused and a lot of it like really art heavy, so there may not be an expansion coming out in the next little while for anything existing, but we'll keep you posted.
Yes.
Let me steal your cursor for just a minute and we'll scroll down. Yeah. Oh, someone says Trollhalla. That's so great, Heather. Alf would be glad to hear. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'd be interested in seeing a top 10 games video from you too. I find it fascinating to learn the tastes of people in the industry. I do too. I love hearing people's top lists.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Sorry.
No, it was just that we got a lot more. Oh no, that was you.
Yep, I messed up.
That was you.
Yeah.
Okay. West Kingdom. Thanks, guys. Do you guys normally come out to StrategyCon?
To StrategyCon.
I don't know where that
we usually
is.
don't.
Where's that?
I forget. I'm sorry to say.
Tell us where StrategyCon is. Let's see. You guys are amazing. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Look at this. Concurrent viewers, 44 people here. This is the biggest booth crowd we've ever had.
Yeah.
At one time.
That's true. Good point.
Except maybe when we have a line for a game, but
yeah.
Let's see. I don't know how to say this, but I'm going to guess Funky Psy. You have to play cartographers with colored pencils.
Oh, yeah. I've seen pictures of that. That does sound fun.
Well, I will say, I'm not much of an artist. Like, I can draw, but I don't often. And so playing cartographers looked like this. I would take my turn, scribble, and like 5 minutes later, Ryan's perfect mountain was drawn in his little cube area, and I was like, okay, yours looks beautiful, and mine, well, it functioned. So Ryan doesn't slack off even when he is playing.
It just seems like part of the fun of that game.
When you're
making like a beautiful map.
Suzanne wants to know what's emerging in the container.
Yes, it's we'll see. It's supposed to be a hero character for our next game. I'll tell you that. And right now, it does not look like it. Not yet. But hopefully it will in a few minutes. Maybe next time we'll do a top 10 games.
Oh yeah, because we're doing streaming all weekend, right? An hour.
Tomorrow we have another, so maybe we'll prepare a top 10 board games.
We're a little bit better with preparation than like off the cuff, because we always like if we do a podcast or we have a live stream or get out of a conversation and then we think about it later, we always think about, oh, I wish I'd mentioned that, and oh, I wish I'd remembered this. So
yeah,
we'll have to recap. Let's see. Raptor's great fun, says Matthew, but can be mean. Glad to hear your son is such an open gamer.
It is a little mean.
Yeah.
There have been some hurt feelings. Yeah. I'll say that.
We work really hard. It's like one of our, because I mean, board games is definitely like one of our top lifestyle foci. So we definitely teach sportsmanship, but our kids, boy, they don't like losing. So it's a good opportunity for us to practice good sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Sifu says, amazing art, Lockett. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alyssa, has the pandemic caused any issues with development with Brenna and team, or is it normally a remote process? Oh.
It has made things harder. I will say that. Like, testing is harder. It's actually a lot harder. And because, we can't get together. Because we do have an office where we used to meet. And so it has been harder to test games. Like, we can test it for 2-player. That's fine. But getting testing with 3 or 4 players is hard. And so a lot of issues, finally, when we do happen to play with 3 or 4 players, new issues come up and it makes it more difficult.
Yeah.
So.
I just had to laugh because I looked up and Funky Sai, if I'm saying that right, says, any Empires of the Void 2 expansion ideas, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I kind of want to be like, no.
Don't read it, Ryan.
Don't.
She's doing that because I always have new expansion ideas for that game.
Always.
But Mallory doesn't want me to do it, guys. She doesn't want me to make the game. She doesn't want me to make the expansion. So
let's just say that I think that if Ryan had the choice, he would unfairly favor expansions for Empires of the Void and neglect Above and Below and Near and Far a little bit. So I'm always like,
other
wait,
games. Yeah.
What about the other games? And Ryan's always like, ooh, Empires. So, but it probably makes Ryan happy to see that you mentioned that.
Yeah, but sadly, probably not anytime soon.
Benjamin Raw says, what type of art or game is being worked on? Do you want to talk about the game this is?
I can just talk about it pretty vaguely. It is a...
Here, I'm going to steal this.
It is a storybook game that we're working on. Oh. And it's in a new setting. And it is not a campaign game. And it will have lots of quirky, weird characters and stories in it.
Yeah, really character focused, right?
Yeah, but it's not like Sleeping Gods. It's not, it's not like a big epic sweeping game. But it is a storybook game. Maybe
a little bit more like Above and Below in the fact that you can sit down and play one session, have a great time, and then be
that's
done.
it.
And then you can sit down, play another session, have fresh stories, fresh material. But it's a quicker experience than the 30-hour saga that is Sleeping Gods. Okay. I think you would make an awesome Mortal Engines game, please, please, please. Oh, Ryan.
Thank you. I have read the book. I read the first book years ago, and I thought that would make a really cool setting for a game.
Cool. And then Suzanne wants to know if we mentioned Deep Vents. We did, but we can show it again.
We did. We talked about it for a little while.
Deep Vents.
Yes.
Check it out on our website.
Now, if you do check this game out, or if you have it, I would highly recommend that you download the player aid for the game that we just barely made. It's on our website, and it is on Board Game Geek as well. And it's just a player aid that tells you what all the different tiles do. The iconography in the game can be a little bit difficult. There are a lot of icons, and
we tried to make it language independent, which our international partners love, but it does make it so that you have to learn what each icon means, and that can be
difficult.
A big task.
So use that player aid; it'll make it a little easier.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Any plans to create written fiction based on your world design?
Well, we did have some. Did I mention that to you a while ago? We did have plans. But we haven't done anything quite yet.
Is this what we were talking about in the garden? We were like, okay, how to... Yes.
We talked about a whole story that we would write for unspecified setting. But yeah, we haven't been able to do that quite yet.
Okay, Alyssa says Strategy Con is in LA.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So when is it? Because we love going to California. When
we'll have to go.
Not completely locked down and we're allowed.
Yeah, we'll have to go one of these times. In the future.
How many of you in Red Raven team are live on this? Let's see. It's me and Ryan, and then sorry, I didn't warn you of that one. And then Brenna is commenting. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm getting really far behind, aren't I? Okay.
We can, I can
+1
give
for top
shorter
10.
answers.
Hi from Hungary. Haven't played any of your games yet, but excited about Sleeping Gods. To be fair, who likes losing? Oh, that's funny. Okay, can we suggest names for this character? My vote is Octomech.
I like that. Octomech.
Uh-oh, don't throw Mallory under the bus like that, LOL. I think I must have missed a comment. Or
It's
is
because
did you throw me under the bus?
Because I was like,
I'm oblivious.
it's Mallory's fault that we're not making the Empires of the Void 2 expansions. Or we're not...
That's not throwing me under the bus. That is absolutely what's going on.
She admits it, folks.
I'm trying to pump the brakes on Empires, so if you're mad about that, come and complain to me. I will gladly accept the comment cards. Just go Empires of the Void 3 then, says Jack Draper.
Believe me, I want to.
Let's see. I love the idea of an Above and Below expansion. Yeah. Let's see. My question would be, at what point did you decide you wanted to develop your world in board games?
It's always been like that since I was a kid. It probably comes from when I was into role-playing games as a teenager. I loved doing that. And I still love role-playing games. But I also like I like the structure that's in board games as well. And I think it's a fascinating medium to use to create settings and stories. It's challenging. I think that's one reason I like it.
Let's see how far behind we've gotten on comments.
Not too
bad. Oh, wait. Maybe. Oh, okay. Not too bad. Okay, greetings from Slovenia. Hello. Bought Ancient World 2nd edition. That's great. Someone loves the colors. Let's see.
Awesome.
Ego Triboholic says there are a lot of icons, but his wife and he loved it.
Oh, good. Awesome.
Oh, Strategy Con is 3 times a year in LA, usually on 3-day weekends.
Oh, nice.
For the holidays. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hello, comments. I missed whose name that was, but someone has like all of our games, and hopefully Sleeping Gods is coming soon.
We can look up there.
Yeah, just look up. It's the last one. Billy, Indiana. Glad I stumbled on this chat. Islebound, 8-Minute Legends, Above and Below, Near and Far is arriving tomorrow, and hopefully Sleeping Gods is coming too.
Well, thank you. I hope you enjoy those.
Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, we missed.
Thanks again, everybody, for being here.
Yes,
for joining
us. If we
us.
missed your comment, thank you for commenting and thank you for being here. And sorry we didn't get to you, but let's see. You missed everything.
This thing is weird.
Oh, how do you decide whether to do another expansion for a game or whether it's time to move on?
It depends on 2 things. It depends on how successful the game is, of course, but it also depends on if, as a designer, it feels like there is more space to explore. So I will say this, though. It feels like, for us, spending time on expansions isn't the best use of our time. I think expansions never sell as well as I think they will. And so they're usually kind of like just because we love it and we love the game, we want to release more content for the game. But to be honest, it feels like if we were just thinking about selling more games, we would probably just make more games, not expansions. Is that fair? Is that too honest?
You're the one that, I mean, in the end, Ryan makes the call on those decisions, so your insight's the most accurate. Let's see. Oh my goodness, all these kind comments too. Matthew says, yeah, I haven't played a single one so far that I haven't liked. Bought the whole collection. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I've been a fan for years since I picked up Ancient World First Edition.
Awesome.
I own every game and expansion that I've been
Wow.
able to get my hands on, except Dingo's Dreams. Any plan for a reprint?
That one, yes, someday.
Someday.
I know that's
Figuring
not the
out-
answer that is very satisfying.
You know, the industry's changing a lot, and even more so this year. But we are figuring out new ways to release, to print, to publish, and you know, there's a lot of hope for those little games that maybe haven't had a reprint in a while. You know, when the right moment comes along, they might just creep back in.
Yeah.
Let's see, or apps. Any designs that would utilize apps? We do have one that's available as a digital version. There's a really great app for 8 Minute Empire, so you can check that out. It plays really fun. There's some fun animation.
We have considered doing games that include apps, but we haven't yet made any of that happen yet.
Yeah.
Just to be honest, we did consider it quite a bit for Sleeping Gods,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm always I always want our games to work without an app, and just if there is an app, like it's something that you can use, but if you're out camping and you have no electronics, or if you're somewhere you can't get the app, or I want the game to always be able to work without having an app at the same time.
Oh yeah. Someone says they found a copy of Dingo's Dreams a year ago. Suzanne says she thinks it's a solid game.
Nice.
John ordered Deep Vents. I missed Dingo's Dream. Okay, let's see. Deep Vents can be mean. Yes,
it can.
Suzanne says, last time I played, we were demolishing each other's arcade. Yeah, and in fact, that was one of the things that I was like, wait a second, when Alex and Ryan showed me this design. But they love that about it. They're like, look, it's short, it's quick, like it can be ruthless, but a lot of games aren't these days. Like a lot of games are balanced and, very Euro. You're very much able to control your own strategy, and I think both of them kind of reveled in the opportunity to just be a little cutthroat. So that's been fun. Let's see.
Yeah, it's kind of true, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my friends and I have played the 8 Minute app to death, and he plans to bring Legends to it. That's great to hear, and gosh, yeah, that would be a good idea.
We discussed that, but it's not currently in development, but it could be. It has the app is done well, so
yeah, we
could do that.
I
would love to
have more of our games on digital platforms.
I think one of the things that's difficult with our company is that our team is small, and so it's hard to manage a ton of projects at the same time.
Someone just
we sort
asked,
of have to just focus in.
They were like, are you going to expand your team so you can do more work? How's that for a deep question?
Yeah. The answer is probably not.
Probably not.
No, we're kind of at our limit, because when it comes down to it, a lot of our brand identity is wrapped up in the art that I can do. And so the more
pace at which Ryan can create art and designs. So the more people that we bring on, there are two issues. One, we spend more time doing management work rather than creative work.
Yeah.
And two, there's just only so much that Ryan creatively has the energy to make every year. So at a certain point, we just we have the structure that supports what Ryan can create every year, and that's what we stick with. So.
Yeah.
Oh, John says City of Iron is also pretty rude. Yeah. Secret about Ryan, he's always looking for ways to make players be able to interact with each other, and he calls it player interaction, but he really loves it.
But what it's actually is player anger inducing.
He likes to force players to pay attention to each other. But
I do.
By doing that, you have to have ways where you have to defend yourself against other players.
But that, to be fair, a lot of our games do not have. They're fairly solitaire, so we have both. We have both kinds. Yeah. But I do like games where you can mess with your opponent a little bit.
That's funny. John that said City of Iron is rude. He says, I love it.
Yeah, it's a bit mean.
Hope Deep Vents will be available in Europe soon. It will, very soon. Curious about what changed since the beta test. Yeah, I hope you get to check it out. Any chance to buy or order Sleeping Gods Kickstarter edition? I missed that Kickstarter frowny face.
Oh, the Sleeping Gods?
The Kickstarter edition.
We will likely have some left over after we fulfill all of them, and we may be able to make some of them available on our website. Yeah,
check out the website. Sign up for the newsletter on our website. Whenever we add new items to the store, Brenna likes to try to keep people up to date on what's available. Suzanne just asked what happened to the flat gray shoulder panels.
Yeah, they weren't quite working. But
is this discovery painting? Is it just emerging organically, she asks?
It is. This is discovery painting. It's kind of like, well, that's not working, so let's just paint right over it. I don't always do art this way, but I like doing art this way because in a lot of ways I come up with something like more strange and creative than I normally would.
Oh, someone says this guy needs a monocle. LOL. JK.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see. I love Above and Below. Fully upgraded the game and every promo. Do you plan on maybe extending Above and Below at
all? Yes. We will do that someday. No, actually, even this year, we had. I have a whole notebook full of ideas for that. But nothing has really solidified yet.
Ryan is so picky about what he lets out for expansions for his games. We've actually made a bunch of expansions for Above and Below and Islebound, and even a little bit for Near and Far after Amber Mines, but he's been like, not good enough. Like, I will only release it if I like it a lot. So if you're ever secretly at the Red Raven
it's also
warehouse,
just time.
See some of those prototype expansions that have died.
It's also just time. Like, right now we're working on 2 new games, and they're taking up all of our attention.
Move you over again.
And
I need to. Okay.
They're taking all of our attention, and expansions for these games, they can take quite a bit of time. How's that?
There. Sorry, there. I'm messing while you're talking.
They can take a lot of time, so it's hard to balance where we spend our time. I think that's probably why the expansions get the shaft sometimes too, because it's like, well, we're working on this new game.
Yeah, the backbone is the next new game. So let's see. Oh, yeah, Brenna's answering great. Okay, Ryan says, let me rehash my question in one post. Above and Below is a personal favorite of mine. Since then, I've gotten most, if not all, of your games. Do you plan on perhaps a second edition of Above and
Below? It is unlikely that we'll do a second edition anytime soon. I don't want to say never because I'm always going to regret doing that because who knows. But I'll say the next project for Above and Below would be, my goal is to make an expansion that's a standalone game. So you can play it by itself if you don't own Above and Below, but it adds more things to Above and Below, so you could combine a lot of things in the 2 games. That's more likely than a second edition.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. This is funny. Is there a cool story behind the frog people, and is there truth in Quackalope's theory that Deep Vents connects Empires of the Void and all the other Red Raven universe?
I think I missed that part on the video when they talked about that. They said that it connects Wait, read that part again.
Connect Empires of the Void and all the other Red Raven universe.
Maybe. No, I don't know. I'll have to see what they said.
So Ego Tripaholic says, I appreciate that way of thinking about the expansions. So I reply to your...
Oh, nice.
Yeah. No one's mentioned Islebound, so I will. I love sailing my little ship around the board. I know the ship meeples are so great in Islebound.
It's
Those
fun.
are fun.
That's a fun one. I play that one with my son, and he had a lot of ideas for additional creatures to add to the game. You know, because right now they just have sea serpents, but he said, "Oh no, we need a whole team of different creatures that you could recruit." So, and he came up with a whole bunch of them. So maybe someday.
What are you painting this with? Hardware?
I am using a Cintiq, a Wacom Cintiq. It's a 12-inch, but it is 10 years old, and I don't use the screen anymore. I just like painting. So I'm painting on glass, basically. It's the or whatever this is, the screen. I like the feel of the screen. It's super smooth. It's a lot smoother than the standard Wacom tablets. And then this is just in Photoshop.
So this is fun. Any idea of a big charismatic bad guy for your next adventures? Oh, baby. Someone's psychic. I won't say much more unless Ryan wants to spill, but...
Oh, I'm kind of lost, actually.
No, come on. The big bad guy, like a really developed, like, oh, this is
like
the
villain?
Big boss at the end type of bad guy.
Are you talking about this one? Or are you talking about...
Well, I'm talking about this
about?
game and the fact that it's got some pretty big potential for...
Yes,
like,
that could happen in
boss
this game.
Villains. Yes.
There are some boss villains in Sleeping Gods as well. Maybe not quite what you're talking about, but yeah.
Okay. Ryan Clements says, thank you so much for answering my questions. Your artwork has been fantastic and your gameplay is top notch. Always will be a Red Raven fan. Hashtag
thank you.
Ryan's stick together. Cute.
Awesome.
Okay. Do you guys play video games? Asks Jack. If so, do you find inspiration from them? I've been playing lots of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yes, I love that one. I do play a lot of video games ever since I was a kid. And a lot of my game designs have been my sort of like a secret homage to like a Super Nintendo game that I loved as a kid. And they might not be obvious that they were, but like there was a similar feeling I was going for. Yeah, but I love all the Zelda games, and I play a lot of... I love like indie games that are made by like a little studio.
Any more inclusion of the pig race in an upcoming game? The Hogmen.
The hog folk.
The hog folk.
Well, if we do an Above and Below expansion, they will certainly be in that game.
True.
Yeah.
Chad Stilson. Oh, I read this before and I didn't get to read it. So, artist question. I tend to over-render my digital art. I would really like to achieve a more painterly look. How can I train myself to get a more painterly look rather than a photorealistic style?
You know, it's tough. I am always questioning my style and where I'm going with how I'm painting, but I will say one thing you can do is so one thing I like to do. You can see that this painting has it's fairly rough, and one thing I do to get that is I paint with, like, I've got this big oil brush that's like very textured and rough. You see this? I mean, and sometimes you could try this. Maybe after you've painted your standard way, just take a big brush like that and just paint over the top of some parts of your painting. to give it more of a painterly look. So like just do that, or just do that on like one element of the painting, or like here and there, the same, not like this, but the same color over the top to give it more of a painterly look. I could go on and on about that. Maybe I'll do that next time.
Wants to know if you've tried an Apple Pencil on an iPad Pro.
I have, and in fact, I painted probably 40, maybe 30 or 40% of the Sleeping God's art was painted that way.
He recently
really
misplaced his pencil, had to order a new one, and he's been pining for it. So yes, that's a good...
Yeah, but I will say I had to learn how to paint differently, a little bit differently, because the way I paint on Photoshop is I constantly sample a lot. And like I sample colors and then I push them back and forth like this, you know. But with the Apple Pencil, I had to learn to rely more on just brush strokes, just standard brush strokes. So it was there was a transition period.
Good. Okay. Yeah, Suzanne says, I mean, Megaland is such a video game when you're talking about video game inspiration.
That's true.
Let's see, sorry if this was asked earlier, but I didn't pay for the soundtrack for Sleeping Gods, and I have much regret. Are there other ways to get a hold of it? Yeah, that's not going to be like an item that's exclusive to Kickstarter backers, but they'll definitely get it first. We'll have updates later once we know when everything's going to be fulfilled.
Yeah, but I think we can sell that on an online store. We haven't figured that completely out yet.
So, which Super Nintendo game were you referencing as your secret inspiration? Super curious. First guess is Secret of Evermore. I don't know that one.
I like that one. But probably some of my favorites that have been inspirations are the Final Fantasy games on Super Nintendo. Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6. And then I also love Super Metroid.
Huh. Okay, John asks, any plans for a time travel theme in the future?
Yes. This game was actually supposed to be a time travel game originally, in the original concept, but it ended up morphing and it didn't really work. I feel like it's something I want to try in the future, but it's a difficult thing to
biggest
do.
Pet peeve in movies is when time travel is done without having good explanations for why it works and why things aren't totally ruined. So he's probably like personally really picky about how to execute time travel in a game.
And it's just hard, like I think, to balance all the mechanisms.
Larry wants to know what app you use to paint on the iPad.
I use Procreate. Yeah. I had to figure out how to make it. So when I paint here, I have if you just push, let's see, is it Alt? Yeah, if you push Alt when you have the brush selected, then it goes to the eyedropper tool and it lets me sample colors really quickly. And I had to set up a few things on Procreate so I could do that there. It's slower, but I can still do it. So I can just tap it. If I tap it with my finger, I can sample the color, and then I use the pencil to paint. So I had to set that up, and it made it really convenient, but I could not have painted without doing that.
Kim says an expansion idea for Near and Far was a card that lets you spawn at other cities on the map. Wants to know about other expansions for Near and Far. Let's see.
Yeah. It could happen, but...
Arius says, I've long said the third game in the Above and Below Near and Far trilogy should be Now and Then with a time travel element.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, do you encounter uninspired days and how do you face them?
Yeah. Actually, I would say for a couple months this year, I felt very uninspired. I felt like my energy level and my creativity level plummeted for probably some fairly obvious reasons that everyone is experiencing. And it was really difficult to deal with those days. And I think the way to do it is to just not force it. I found the best way is just take a break, you know, just like, it's hard to detach my own self-worth with like my productivity. So that's hard, but sometimes you just got to take a break, even if it's like a long break, like a couple of months, at least for me.
So the time has completely flown by. I'm sad to say the hour of planned is up, but what's the scoop, Rye?
Yeah, we will be back tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us and for your questions and all your supportive comments. Tomorrow we will be back at...
Is it the same time?
No, it isn't. It's slightly
time?
Later.
Okay, let's look it up.
Let me see. So it'll be at 4:30 Eastern time.
So a half an hour later than today.
Yeah.
2:30 Mountain, 4:30 Eastern.
At 3:30 Eastern time, Deep Vents will be on the Board Game Geek live stream. So be sure to check that out.
Check it out.
And did we get everybody's questions before the end?
See. We got a few. Well, people are discussing all sorts of time travel shows and like which way to address the time travel issues. Let's see. Yeah, general malaise. Everyone's feeling frowny face. I see this piece is named Untitled 1, and now I'm having anxiety attacks worrying that you haven't saved yet. Oh, boy.
Oh, I guess that's a good point. It's okay. I probably should do it.
Thanks.